Welcome to Galaxy Tenants. On today's episode, we head to Utah for a conversation with philosopher and comedian Rodney Norman, and we feature a couple of songs from Rob Drabkin titled It's a Beautiful Day and You and Me. Stay tuned to Galaxy Tenants for an upcoming episode with Rob, and stay safe out there.
Early this morning, woke up holding my head, hearing my heartbeat all night long. Shades of this motel keeping me in bed, reading the news, just trying to stay strong. I need to just get up, take a deep breath, keep it together, 'cause it's a beautiful day. Sun on my face, feeling okay. Don't let it get away. It's a beautiful day. Feel so proud, screaming out loud. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. I used to feel sad, now I'm satisfied. I'd fall to pieces, now it's peace of mind. The words of my mother speak the truth. She always said, son, you'll make it through. I need to just get up, take a deep breath, keep it together, 'cause it's a beautiful day. Sun on my face, feeling okay. Don't let it get away. It's a beautiful day. So proud, screaming out loud. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. I won't ever let it go. I won't let it get away. I won't ever let it go. I won't ever let it go. I won't let it get away. I won't ever let it go. It's a beautiful day. Sun on my face, feeling okay. Don't let it get away. It's a beautiful day. Feel so proud, screaming out loud. It's a beautiful day. Sun on my face, feeling okay. Don't let it get away. It's a beautiful day. Beautiful day. Feel so proud, screaming out loud. It's a beautiful day. Beautiful. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It's a beautiful day.
I figured we'd start today's episode with a song from Rob Drabkin before heading into our conversation with comedian and philosopher Rodney Norman, who we have on the line. How are you today, Rodney?
I'm doing good. Good. How are you?
I'm doing really good. It's such a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for all the joy that you've already brought me in such a short amount of time. Can you tell me a little bit about your background and how you got into comedy?
Yeah, I was always involved in theater, and when I was younger, and in fact, my first real performance was on my grandmother's back porch. Me and my brothers, sisters, and my cousins used to put on shows for my mom and aunts and uncles and grandparents. And my first real performance was I got to be Elton John in a rendition of Crocodile Rock, and getting the accolades from my family was like, okay, this is it. This is what I'm doing. And so that's really where the whole impetus started. Was at a very young age, I'd always wanted to do it, and I did theater, did acting, did all that kind of stuff. And then after I got married, my wife, I used to create characters and make her laugh all the time, and she finally just kept pushing me. She said, you need to go do stand-up. You need to do stand-up. And I'm like, I don't know how to get into stand-up. She says, well, just find out how to do it. Just go do it. And so I finally got to a point in my life where I was like, okay, this is what I'm doing. I went to an open mic, did a couple jokes, got a few laughs, and thought, okay, yeah, this is my life's calling. This is what I'm doing forever. So,
is it terrifying to get up on a stage in front of people for the first handful of times, or even still? I mean, is that a difficult thing to do?
Oh yeah, I mean, to get up in front of a group of people is one thing, but to get in front of people with the audacity that you can make them laugh is a whole different one. I mean, it's a whole different thing. I mean, if you can get up and do karaoke and sing in front of people and do horrible, people will still go, oh, you tried. It was nice. I appreciate your effort. But as a comedian, you get up there and you tell a bad joke, and it's like there's no sympathy for you at all.
Sure, you're getting up there with the premise that I'm funny and you're going to laugh at me. And if it doesn't work out, I can imagine that's pretty difficult. How long have you been doing stand-up?
A little over 20 years, about 22 years come November.
Wow. When I was looking over your website and some of your socials, I saw several references to clean comedy. Can you tell me a little bit about your approach to comedy?
Yeah, I want to be more, general audience kind of comic. I'm not a very profane person anyway. I'm just not. It's just not me. And so being a clean comic, it wasn't that I set out to be a clean comic. You just realized that, I don't have any really dirty material, And now what I do have that I think of as dirty material, and I tell people, well, this is my dirty jokes. They still laugh at me and go, yeah, you can still do those on TV, so you're still clean. So I'm like, oh, okay, all right, whatever. It's more just an extension of who I am. So it was really never intended to be a clean comic. It just happened to be one. So.
I always think it's kind of a weird term. Whenever I see clean comic, I always wondered kind of what that means in regards to like the actual approach to it. Can you talk a little bit about the characters that you've developed and the character that has mainly taken off as of late? Can you tell us a little bit about that character?
Yes, Leonard, as I have come to call him. Yeah, I was several years ago. I started working on just sort of. My thought was to take my different characters and create their own persona and web presence and everything. And Leonard was a character that's sort of amalgamation of several things. But the first impetus of creating Leonard was an homage to my grandfather, who was kind of a lush drunk alcoholic. He died early because of complications from alcoholism. But when I got to hang out with him, most of the time he was a little tipsy. He was always, the type. But he always wanted to tell me life lessons. And so he would start telling me these ridiculous stories from his life and all the things that he learned. And he would kind of speak in this kind of, crazy voice half the time, and then somber, and then like he would have these moments to say these very profound things, and it would just kind of came out half crazy, and I loved it. The things he taught me, it was fun. It was I loved the man, And so when I got older, I was on the way to a gig, and I was really, really tired, and I had to get up and do an hour show, and I was just not doing well. I had not slept well the night before. I had to get up early to try to even get to the gig. And so this idea came to me to just do it as my grandfather. And so that's where I started doing it, and it killed. I was just like, oh, this is funny. This is awesome. And so I just sort of developed it, turned him into a what I envisioned was the world's worst motivational speaker. And because, every motivational speaker is so well polished and says just the right thing, just the right way, and has all the emotion. And I thought, what if I take this guy who has little to no social skills whatsoever and just doesn't care, just has no concern for anything, but he's sharing his wisdom with the world in this rather strange way, and it it's clicked with people, and it's been absolutely a delight.
He's prolific, he's disarming, and there's this positive message. And in the moments where you're pausing and processing, there's some beauty in those moments that I think people really, really appreciate, and it's really an amazing thing.
Yeah, I got a lot of criticism from people for that. They're like, "Oh, you ought to do jump cuts with the video and get rid of all those dead spots." And I'm like, I don't think you catch the vision of what's going on here.
I read a quote on your Facebook page. It says, "Some say absurd things in an eloquent manner. I say eloquent things in an absurd manner." And I thought that was very, very true to that character. And I really appreciate that right now, while the world is seeing all these crazy negative things, that you have found a way to simplify these things and communicate them to people without lecturing them or telling them how they should be. It's more deliverable in the fashion that you've done it. And I think it resonates with people because of that.
Yeah, that the whole disarming idea, that's the key to the whole character working, is the fact that he's not really saying anything different than you hear from any other guru or preacher or life coach or whatever, but he's saying it in a way that you actually listen and go, "Oh, okay, I get it," and it's been pretty rewarding. Seeing how it's really gotten to people, because they're like they finally through Leonard, they're able to understand concepts that have befuddled them in the past. And I think as part of that, a lot of this stuff has been made so mystic, like you can only understand it if somebody very special explains it to you. And it's like, well, no, this is stuff you know in your heart that this is the way that you should live your life. This is good for you to think this way, and he just brings that out. It's pretty amazing.
I love that the life lessons are delivered on a spoon of comedy that basically can be fed to liberals or conservatives in a way that is receivable. And I think that's really wonderful. Can you talk about your newfound national and international fame? Because I have friends in Canada, I have friends in Germany that have sent me your videos and shared your videos. What's that like for you?
It's surreal. I mean, yeah, we're getting friends requests and follows and messages and from all over the world, and it is just beyond comprehension. I mean, it's wake up every morning and I've got messages from people in Australia. Australia, they're kind of in a weird deal because they're like almost in a complete and total lockdown, where like they have to some places they have to get permission to go to the store from the government. So they're locked up, and this is, they're saying that this is the only sane thing that they've got going is watching these videos. And it's kind of interesting because I've been doing stand-up for many years, and I have seen kind of the ebbs and flows of comedy. And it's interesting that it almost seems like any comedy that you do that people know you wrote or did before all of this happened, it almost seems like it doesn't count anymore. That
it comes from a different perspective.
It comes, and so this is coming from a very, 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 very specific time and place, and yet it's still timeless.
It really is,
to some degree, and the fact that it's reaching out to not just Americans but to people all over the world, it startles me all the time. It's kind of humbling because it's like, wow, when you can get a stuffy Englishman to appreciate what you're doing, it's like, okay, I'm onto something here.
It speaks to your approach, though, just like we were saying, it's appealing to kind of everybody because it's so disarming, and it doesn't feel like it's some sort of a political message or some sort of a guru telling you how to live your life. And it doesn't feel like at the end you're going to be sold anything, which is kind of nice too.
Yeah. Well,
although you should write a book.
I am writing a book. Good. I've started doing that.
That's great.
It's a lot of fun, and that's really where I saw this, is that for an individual, rather than speaking in general terms and political and all that. This is really about individuals and how to get through all this nonsense without driving yourself crazy. That's the goal of the whole thing, and it's intended to be not political.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really speaking to the human condition in general.
Sure. You were just mentioning the quarantine in Australia. Have you been performing comedy during the quarantine here in America? And also, where are you located? Are you in Utah?
Yeah, currently I'm in Utah, but I also have a home in Connecticut, and I'm flying there tomorrow. I've got a show in somebody's backyard on Saturday.
That's great.
So I've been doing, yeah, it's been weird because, as a comedian, traditionally, outdoor shows are horrible.
Yeah, you want the club, lower ceiling, packed room.
Yeah, you want the general focus towards on you, and outdoor shows were something you just never wanted to be a part of because they were just embarrassing for the most part. But now with everything's happened, now all of a sudden these outdoor shows still kind of feel like, because I think part of it is that people want that intimacy. They still want that connection with other human beings. They still want live entertainment. And so they're willing to take whatever they can get. And so now all of a sudden these live outdoor shows are actually pretty fun. I've enjoyed doing them, even though I got, cars passing behind me and, trucks driving back and forth, big trucks checking their air brakes as they're going by. And it's still, I just loved it because it's like, finally I'm back doing this. And I've also done some clubs that have done the whole, you have to spread out, do social distancing and all that kind of stuff. And done those. And it's still, I think people are just so hungry to get back to some sort of normalcy that people are just really digging it. So I'm loving it.
Yeah, you're basically on the forefront of a new way of doing comedy. I mean, everybody's being forced to change, and some people are sitting it out. So by participating, you're in this new wave of performance, which is interesting. It's interesting to see all these outdoor scenarios. Seeing you in social media, seeing Leonard, the character, all the time, I have curiosities about how you are as a person outside of your character. What are you into outside of comedy? What kind of music do you listen to? What kind of books do you read? I'm so curious about you.
Well, I have a degree in philosophy, so I read a lot of philosophy and religious stuff. I've always been fascinated by theology. Music, I listen to just everything except gangster rap, and I know that sounds very white of me, but that's true. Very, very eclectic. I mean, I love everything from polka music to yodeling to old country, new country, rock. I mean, just, everything.
Sure.
A good song is a good song. I've always wanted to actually be a musician. I've wanted to, and for some reason, I just haven't had the patience to do it. But I'm getting closer to actually being able to do it. I've learned 3 chords on the guitar. So from what they tell me, I can play 90% of all music at that point.
Absolutely. As far as pop music goes, 3 chords, you got it covered.
Yep.
Music's a great thing, man. I play sitar and a Persian instrument called a setar guitar. I play a bunch of different stuff, but it's such a big part of who I am. So I'm always curious about what kind of music they're into. I think music could be great for you as far as incorporating it to your act. Who am I to tell you what to do with your act? But another way to bring people joy.
Well, I've had a couple song ideas popping through my head that I just got to figure out how to turn it into reality.
Would you oblige us with maybe a little Leonard for the listeners at home? Maybe give folks a little bit of some direction on what they can do during these hard times.
Yeah, hold on, let me get him.
Sure.
Okay. So, the first thing that you gotta consider is that you really don't have a whole lot of control over the world, and so you sit there and you're wasting your time thinking about all the stuff that you do, and maybe if you were in charge of everything, you could fix all the stuff, but you ain't, and so you're just got you. So what you got to do is just say, hey, I'm just gonna do what I can do, and then these other people then just do whatever they're gonna do, and I might end up dead or in a concentration camp or something at some point in time, but at least if I was in a concentration camp, at least I get to be with other people for a little bit, so that'd be nice. And they probably won't be too worried about wearing masks or anything while you're there. So you got that to look forward to. And then if you die, then you get all the answers to everything. I mean, just all these things you're concerned about, when you're dead. I mean, if there's no answers, then you're just dead and it's over with, right? Then it doesn't matter. But like, if there's like a God person, I'm in favor of the idea of the God person. I like the God person, and you get there and they say, "Hey, welcome to the cool heaven place, the cool place," and then you go like, "Hey, this is pretty cool to be here. Hey, what's the secret to life?" And they say, "Well, it was the whole time was just try to be happy, and make other people happy." And you go, "That's it?" And they go, "Yeah, that was kind of the point of the whole thing. That's it."
You made me so happy today. I'm crying right now, man. Oh my God. Thank you so much for everything you do. Thanks so much for just the constant positivity at a time where a lot of us are in our houses and we have that brief moment with you that it's magic, man. Laughter's magic, and it's such an important part of who we are as people. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's an honor. I mean, ultimately it was just me creating crazy characters and trying to have some fun, and now it's turned into what feels like a calling, and it's fun. It's just it's an honor, and it's very humbling, to hear the stories. Not uncommon to yours is just that it's like, wow, I get people who are saying, "This is the first time I've laughed in months," this is the first time that they've really felt like there was some hope, and that there was going to be that this was eventually going to end, and just start putting their lives back together, and just from my silly crazy videos. So it's, like I said, it's humbling and it's gratifying, and it's a joy to bring joy to other people, and nothing can compare to this. This has been amazing.
And if it doesn't end, we still have Rodney Norman and we have Leonard, which is a great thing for all of us. Where can people find out more about you? Where can people find out about your upcoming performances or live streams? I saw you have a live stream coming up on Sunday.
Yeah, I do one with my wife. She took over my fan page and she runs that, and so we every so often we'll get together and just do a kind of an update of what's going on, because things are in my personal life are starting to change rather dramatically from all this, and some really cool offers and opportunities are looking like they're going to happen. So that is pretty cool. Most of them I can't talk about yet, but yeah, we just like to just have that connection with everybody, because we feel like we're building a community, because we've envisioned this thing where we're putting politics aside. It's like, that's not, you can't, none of us can do anything about it. I mean, we can write a letter and vote, or maybe go knock over a 7-Eleven and blow it up, if whatever you feel like you got to do, right? But this is just putting the politics aside and showing people that, look, we shouldn't be hating each other. We shouldn't be at each other's throats. I mean, we're all in this together, whether we agree or not. We still are. I mean, we all share the same planet. We're all human beings. There's no different races. There's only one race, and so all these divisions that we keep creating are just ridiculous, and that's what we want to pull down. And that's our goal with this whole thing. But yeah, the best place to find me, in answer to the actual question you asked, is probably the easiest one is Facebook. I'm also on Instagram. I have a TikTok. I never intended to have a TikTok. I just wanted to watch my friend's daughter dance around as a Disney princess, and next thing I know, I have a TikTok. So occasionally I put stuff on that. I have a website, but I still haven't been able to figure out how to do anything with it. So don't waste your time with that yet. But just Facebook's probably the easiest. Facebook. And YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel, Rodney Norman Comedian. I post. I've got about 90 some odd videos on there. So that's how you can find me.
Thank you so much for your time today, Rodney. I'm so grateful for you.
Oh, you bet. Thank you. Thank you for reaching out to me. I appreciate it.
You and me, gonna chase the sun, gonna walk the moon, gonna see the light till the light is gone. Step out of line, just stand out of place. No fear in you, no fear in me. We, you and me, gonna rule the world and stand up tall. Say no more wars. You and me, gonna change the world. With our open arms, we'll open doors. And I stand by you if you stand by me. My God, where you been? I walk these hills, and they never end. From the midday sun to the midnight moon. No fear in me, no fear in you. You and me, gonna rule the world, gonna stand up tall, say no more. Stand by me. Stand up tall, say no more wars. You and me, gonna change the world. With our open arms, we'll open doors. Now stand by you, if you stand by me.
Thank you for listening to Galaxy Tenants. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, like, rate, and review wherever you listen to podcasts. For early access to episodes and exclusive content, check us out on Patreon. Also, if you'd like to communicate with us, send an email to galaxytenants@gmail.com or leave a voicemail on the Galaxy Tenants hotline at 303-550-2065.
You've reached the Galaxy Tenants hotline. Please leave a message.